Good evening, everyone, all our friends. Thanks for being here. And tonight we're going to talk about past lives, parallel lives. That's a different subject, and how they affect your current life. Some people believe what they can physically see is all there is to life, and we are much more than our current physical realities. You are living countless lifetimes all at the same time, and they can affect your current life without you even realizing that's what's going on. You may get triggered by something that gets your attention, or just meet someone that feels like you've known them forever, or get a really sick or harsh feeling around certain people and not understand why. There are all kinds of examples of how these lifetimes affect you. You can access your lifetimes to understand yourself on deeper levels, heal, and even gain better in your current life. There are so many ways that things can come into your reality that have to do with a deeper connection. So join us tonight as we share real experiences with you and share how you can know about all these other lifetimes that, some of them are hindering you, some might be helping you. And we'll do some exploration on that.
And stick around if you would like a free light activation mini healing. Type in "I'm all in" the chat room. And depending on who we feel guided, we will select you for a free light activation mini healing.
Yes, we will.
And I am monitoring the chat room once I can go on it.
Of course he is. All right. Well, thank you. And welcome to you guys pouring in from YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Homer, how was your birthday yesterday?
Oh, it was fun. It was relaxing. I received so much love from everybody all around the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
I felt good. It was relaxing. Had a cake.
Had a whole cake.
And still having it.
I'm still eating cake. He can have his cake and eat it too.
I can. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So let's start diving into this. So,
yes.
If you watch some of our other segments, we've been talking about multi-dimensional living. And this is yet another example of multi-dimensional living where I've said this before, you can have your own beliefs about this. I'm just basing this off of my experience. And I have a lot of experience because I don't only have my own experiences, but I see clients every day. And except not the weekends, unless I have to. But I have done thousands and thousands of healings. So I see my clients' past lives. I'm very aware of how past lives hinder you. Usually it's coming up as a hindrance. But sometimes it's soul connections that you're remaking as you're journeying through life. And we're going to talk about that today too. But I've had so much experience, and I really recognize, for me, my belief is that we don't have past lives. I will use that term because people can relate to that. I more believe in the parallel life thing where everything's happening all at the same time, because all we ever have is now. I mean, can you go to the past? I mean, you can revisit it and do work to shift it, but it's the past, right? And you're waiting for the future, but you're only in the now. So how can these things, these other lifetimes, really be existing when vibration never stops, when we are part of one, a whole, and everything's going on at the same time? If we're accessing these other lifetimes and there are living lifetimes, then it's happening. So it gets really interesting to understand these things because so much insight can come out of it. One thing that I love about learning about when past lives come up through sessions, or you're going through something and you get a past life flash, like when you know how to look for those things or they just show up and you recognize it, is when one comes in to you, like it just shows up, it's something that you need to know at the time to understand more about yourself so you can make a decision and understand yourself more, number one, and understand that this energy that you're experiencing is from another or a different or alternate lifetime. And it's residue that you brought in with you. Okay. So if you put that in perspective, you go, what? This is from another lifetime? You mean I don't have to suffer like this, or I don't have to have this kind of relationship with this person? Like I can choose to do something different. Then you have that information so you can shift it out and say, this doesn't belong in this lifetime. I am going to let this go. And we do a lot of this work with our light activation healings, by the way. And also, you know, this can also go into the contract work that we talked about in one of the segments that we've already done on changing contracts. When you find out you've got something with another person, or it doesn't have to be a person. It could be even a situation, something you're lacking, something you're wanting. Like say that you really feel like, I know that, you know, Homer and I, it's not like, I don't know, things just come to our awareness. We'll just have a conversation. It's like, whoa. So I'm really connected to the energy of royalty. And, you know, when I'm in Egypt, I really feel that. And when I'm in India, I really feel that. And one of the things that we do in India as part of our spiritual journey is one portion of the journey. So every we have different portions, and every portion we're focusing on a specific energy to work through specific things or to gain certain things or both. And one of the things we do in India is experience royalty. So that's really fun because we experience the royalty in different areas, from the desert to places where they had a lot of Maharajis. And then also, I'm getting chills. So you'll see the picture on this announcement that's kind of covered up right now. But if you saw it, it is a picture of Homer in that energy. We stayed in, we stayed in different places because the royalty portion took place in a few different areas. And so from staying out in the desert, literally, to in the royal tent, and to going to palaces and staying in old palaces. Or staying in ancient forts that were made for a Maharaji. You know, it's just like, it's when you can be in the energy, you get these flashbacks and you get these connection and memories. And then not only that, the people that you meet along the way, there's soul connecting rehappening. So it's almost like, not almost, but when we go on these trips, we have a reason for going. We have our own personal reason. We have the group reason. We have the work reason. Mm-hmm. And then we don't know, but there's going to be soul connecting, reconnecting of soul connections as well. So we have that's why our connections in all these places we go, we remain friends with these people, because it's like we had a reunion, a soul mm-hmm. reunion in essence, and in physical, actually. So the royalty thing, and then I told Homer, because we were going to have a spiritual journey in Italy this year. It was supposed to happen in September. Obviously, we didn't get to have it, but we were going to go early because I have someone that I know that invited us to stay at her place, and so we were going to do that. But we were like, oh, we're so close to Monaco, and I said, you know what? I have always felt this pull to go to Monaco. I have no idea why, but I feel also like that royal energy with it. Like ever since I was a little girl, I don't know why. I don't know really that much about it, and never had any reason to have that there. And then Homer goes, me too. And I'm like, what? So we were so excited because we were like, well, we have to go to Monaco then. Like, we have to go there and go.
It was only a 30-minute train ride from where we were gonna stay, so it was
Right.
doable. Yeah.
Right. So, oh, I'm getting chills. So, these things come up all the time. And one interesting thing about also me and Homer, one time Homer said, when I was a little kid, I never smiled in my picture.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And he said at school, they said, smile. And what did you say?
Well, because I never smiled, and the photographer, he said, "Okay, get ready to smile. I'm not gonna take the picture until you smile." Because I was like this, and then I said, "I can't smile because I don't have any teeth," and he started to laugh.
And so I go, what do you mean you didn't have any teeth? He goes, I didn't have any teeth
I didn't have any teeth
in the front. And I said, I didn't have any teeth on my upper front for the longest time. My teeth wouldn't grow in. I had this problem when I was a baby. I actually, well, not a baby. Well, I consider it a baby, a young, very young child. I had to go to the hospital and have my front teeth removed because my mom gave me juice in a bottle and it rotted my teeth.
Oh, me
And
too.
so they wouldn't, they weren't growing in. Like by the time I was like 7 and 8, I still was with this no teeth there.
Yeah.
And so we both had no teeth. So that is so weird. Like,
I think
are
I
you
had 2
kidding me?
molars. That was it. 2 molars.
So many
Yeah.
weird things happen.
But yeah, I
So,
didn't smile when I was young because I didn't have teeth, and when they did grow out, they were all crooked, like
yeah,
bugs
and then
biting.
miraculously his teeth straightened. We were just talking about that the
I
other night.
never wore braces either.
That's
So
crazy. So anyway, where was I going with this? So yeah, this royalty thing. So if that's something that really resonates with me, I can, these spiritual journeys are great because, we go to places to experience it. And it's just like being like back home in your element. You just feel so comfortable and you feel so good and you feel so happy. And we just have, it's just so great just to experience the energy again. But also it's a vibration. So if it's something that you've already experienced, you can access that vibration in that other reality and infuse it into your current reality. If you want to experience more royalty in this, instance, whatever it is, into this vibration to create a more dominant presence of it, it's easier because you already have it in your energy. It might not be the dominant energy. Maybe your life is a little bit lacking or a lot lacking. Well, if you've had a lifetime of royalty, you can leverage that frequency, that energy into this lifetime. So that's pretty cool. So
yeah.
Homer, I'm going to pass the baton to you, and you have so many interesting things to share. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you just feel into how you want to, talk about that.
Okay, well, I have a visual. So when I knew we were going to do past lives and parallel lives, I thought, let me pull out my folder of my own past, parallel, and other lifetimes. And so when I was, I think maybe 20 years ago or something. Well, it was like in the 90s. I started to just write down a lot of my lifetimes, different lifetime. I would just type in little descriptions, my name, who I was married to, my pets, everything. But after a while, I got tired of it. I think I got up to 98 and I said, yeah,
Jeez.
that's all I need to know. And it was like brain candy. But just looking at the list, so it was showing how diverse my other lifetimes were. So I was rich, I was poor, I was royalty, I was, um, the opposite of that. I was in almost every culture you can imagine, and also practicing every religion or spiritual practice you could imagine. I was man, woman. I was animal. I was a boulder. I was part of a river. And I even have
Wow, part of a river. I like
part of
that.
a river.
So
I
you
was,
must be good at flowing.
unless there's a dam or a boulder preventing me.
Mhm.
And also, not only Earth lifetimes, but I even wrote down some of my galactic lifetimes and parallel Earth life, Earth lives, but a different kind of Earth.
Well, why don't you go into that?
And how do I know it was a different Earth? Well, first of all, I don't know if you guys ever watched Lord of the Rings, the the movie, the series. In the movie, there's an elf. His name is Legolas.
One moment. So we always need
Yeah.
to clarify this with Homer.
Oh,
And I love that you asked that, Allison. She says, "Are these lives on Earth or different planets?" So
okay.
we need to clarify these things with Homer because he
I
goes
know.
straight out there.
I go
So
straight out there. So this lifetime that I will talk about right now, it is an Earth lifetime, but a different Earth. So I was an elf. So I looked like that guy Legolas in that Lord of the Rings movie, and I worked with the large wolves. And the Earth that I was on looked exactly, well, there were some differences like the earth we are in now, but the reason why I know it was different because um, there is a land bridge that connects the United Kingdom or England with France. So I lived in that area, so there was a land bridge, and we don't have that now, or we probably did in the past. But yeah, so that was an example of a Earth lifetime, but a different Earth.
is it
Oh,
a different Earth of human Earth?
There
Human?
were humans, but there were also elves,
Well, there's also
fairies.
on this Earth.
Yes, exactly. It's the eyes are a giveaway there.
So I guess what would you say a multiverse
Yes,
situation?
a multiverse.
Multiverse. So now we're spreading our wings
I
even
mean,
more.
there is Earth, but there is like depending which Earth you speak of. So
Mhm.
yeah. hmm And then
And, oh, you know
yeah.
what? Just because you said that, it reminded me of when we were told we were going to host visitors.
Oh yeah. The exchange program.
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. The exchange program because well, we know the people out there and they know what we do because we are part of them. And yeah, we're going to have an exchange program with our fellow galactic beings. Here's a few drawings.
Specifically,
hmm
Atlanteans.
Yeah, Atlanteans. It's kind of like Star Wars. We have a lot of diversity out there. Diversity. Ta-da.
Wow, you guys are getting lucky. He's sharing those things. He holds
Uh,
them so
yeah.
tightly. Wait, that was your girlfriend.
Atlantintil.
This is the one he was describing, the
Mhm.
one he is in love with.
Yeah. Oh wait, there she is. See how her hair goes out like that? And she has gills on the neck. Nothing beats a woman with gills on her neck.
I love it.
But yeah, so with lifetimes, I mean, I was also animals as well. Sometimes with animals, that's more of a shorter lifetime. And this is only my own term I made up, like a vacation life. Like I used to be a cat. Yeah, I wrote it down, and I was a fluffy cat. I lived in England at the time. I lived for only 5 months. I was killed by a pack of dogs. My owner put a bow in my hair because I had fluffy hair. So yeah,
Well, Homer, you had some fluffy hair in a picture I saw. I was trying to
in
tag
the
you, but
eighth
it wouldn't
grade, I
tag.
did. I had
No, on one of your cruise ship Alaska pictures, you had an interesting hairdo.
oh, I did.
Yeah.
I
Is that girl who said happy birthday? I don't even know her name.
uh huh.
She was on the boat with you. There's a picture of you guys sitting at the table, and you had a weird hairdo. I don't know what was up with that.
I did.
You're gonna have to go check that.
I,
You look like you needed one of those bows for that hair.
like a Floby?
Well, that too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go on.
So also, I mentioned it in a different show about not liking hyenas. And here's why, because in one life I was a wildebeest, and in another life I was also a lion. So, wildebeest, they don't like hyenas. Lions, they don't like hyenas. And I was also a hyena type being um, in the what star system was that? In the Taurus constellation star system.
Wow.
Yeah, and my race name, or the hyena race, was the Afchakfet. And I was a very wild hyena-like being. And even my angel stepped in to tell me, calm down, don't be so ravenous.
Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah,
so just springboarding off that hyena story. I mean, I've been with Homer when well, first of all, he gets upset. I don't know if you still do, but he used to get upset when he would watch like National
National
Geographic.
Geographic. Yeah.
Oh, Moy.
Well, it was I think the morning of Peru, when I saw you, and we were still in Iquitos in the Amazon. They happened to show some National Geographic thing about the hyenas attacking the zebra, and it's kind of like you watch it and you want to turn away, but it's like, why am I still watching it? And I was just being affected by it. I was like, no. And sometimes I have dreams of being eaten alive like that. Um, and the feeling of it. So like I would tell Cindy, she would say, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just saw a hyena video."
And
But yeah,
one time when we were in Hawaii, we were teaching a light activation class, but we would get up early to go, do some exercise, take a walk around the little area we were staying. And it was really early in the morning, and this pack of dogs
oh yeah,
started following us, and they wouldn't leave us alone. And Homer was like he was getting that flashback.
yeah.
And they weren't like attacking or anything, but they were following us, and we're like, oh my gosh, these dogs are like going away from their house and they're following us. So we tried to get away from this. So we walked back to where their house was, and then we were slowly walking away, and they weren't noticing. And we were slow, slow, slow. And then when they couldn't see us anymore, we started to run because we wanted to get away and around the corner. And all of a sudden they come rolling around the corner after us. And we did that like, I don't know, 3 times. And then finally,
And that triggered me so much.
yeah, and then that one dog just wouldn't, he came with us all the way back to where we were staying. And I was like, we got to get him in the van and take him back, drop him off and drive away, but he wouldn't get in the van. And then finally what happened, we were at the end of the street and someone knew the dog.
Yeah.
And then
told him to go home, and he went home.
it was a big thing.
It was, yeah.
And that little dog was coming after me and nipping at the back of my leg, remember? But that didn't bother. I mean, I wasn't worried about it. It was just kind of weird that he was doing that.
I mean, that's what happens. Anything can trigger it. Even on trips, even the smell can trigger another memory from another lifetime.
Yeah, we would smell that ancient pea in India.
Yeah.
The ancient pea.
I mean, that was traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
But everything that we've experienced on trips, it would trigger things, or even people we would meet on trips or not on trips. It's like there's a recognition that our souls, it has that with other people we've met before in another lifetime.
Well, and a lot of it when we're meeting people on trips or wherever we happen to be out, usually are really good, like deep connections. But then there's times where they just do something and it totally triggers you. And you're wondering, like, why was I so triggered off of that? Or why does that guy bother me so much? I was thinking about that guy in the tuk-tuk, the one that I was telling off in Udaipur.
Oh, because he thought we were like old.
Oh, that too.
Oh,
But that wasn't what that
he
triggered
was just
you.
rude too.
That
Yeah.
pissed you off. But no, because remember, I was like, I wanted to do this and that, and then he was taking us to all of these places and wasting all our time,
Oh
trying
yeah,
to make
yeah,
money off of us to go shopping at his friends' places and stuff. I was so mad at him.
yeah, yeah.
And then we were late to get to the palace. Like, I was really upset because we didn't get to the palace like when we needed to, and then we were in a big crowd, and I was very upset about that. And yeah, and I wasn't thinking about it then, but that guy really triggered me. I really went off on him, remember?
Yeah. It was like a lifetime of like, ugh.
I went off on him. I think he was shocked. And the
Yeah.
brothers were looking at me like, okay. I said, yep, okay, and let's go. So yeah, just don't mess with us like that. I don't like that. We travel enough to know when people are playing games and they think that we're stupid tourists and we're not.
Yeah.
So I make sure they know that.
I mean, when I get that way, it's like the galactic temper comes out because I even lost it when I was in Peru when one guy thought he lost my credit card, or when the Reed Islands when they were trying to be shady with us, and I just lost it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was gonna throw that
Oh yeah.
they gave me out of the window on the boat, and then the brothers said, "Let's light their island on fire." We were all getting triggered with
We
that
were.
experience. That was so weird. And normally, like the time we went the time before, it was so beautiful and so wonderful.
Mhm.
But it was a completely different island, completely different people we were shamans we were with, a completely different situation. And it's so weird because the Reed Islands in Lake Titicaca, there's a lot of them. And what we got caught up in the last time was so weird. It was just very, very strange. But it was definitely.
But anything can trigger your other lifetime memories, even a painting, even a song, anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were going to talk about some specific lifetimes.
Well, in other lifetimes, well, there is one lifetime not here on Earth, but a different place out there. I do a lot of teaching at a academy. It's kind of like a university. So I go there a lot and I do my teachings. And sometimes over the years, I've even seen some of my students in my classroom, in my class, as clients in this life. So I would see that like other lifetime. And also I have vacation spots out there. There's an asteroid I love to visit and see all the magical animals that are with me. They are not pets, but they are fellow beings, like roommates.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know when we were in Varanasi, and it's the holiest city and the oldest city in India, very sacred, right on the Ganga River. And we went out in the morning, like 5 a.m. It was still dark. Went out on the boat because they do their morning cleansing and ceremonies. They go in the water, they dunk 3 times, and they're always in the morning and in the evening they do a cleansing of their sins. Like this is just something they all go and do. It's amazing. And whenever we would get on the boat, it would be Homer and then myself and then the brothers, Biz and Clock. And you guys probably know who we're talking about if you watch these segments. They've been on here a couple times. And we would, be leaving where we were staying and walking to the water to go see, get on the boat. And every time we would get on the boat, it was so weird because we would be talking and all, interacting. But the moment the boat would take off, for some weird reason, we'd all separate and we'd all like zone.
Mhm.
And it would be from actually being on the water. Like at the time, we didn't realize that we were doing that. We didn't realize that we would separate and zone out, and we were all in our own world. And that first time, because it happened every time we got on the water, that would be what would happen. And in that water, there's so many things, right? They burn the bodies at
Yeah.
that in that city. That's like what they're known for.
The cremation.
The cremations.
Yeah.
They do it right by the water, and then they push the bodies out there. Well, the ashes, but certain things can't be cremated, like pregnant
Yes.
women and
Anyone with leprosy, animals. I think anyone younger than 16.
mhm.
There were like 7 or
There's
9.
like 7 things. I don't remember all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you think about that river, how many dead things are actually in that river? Like from ancient days.
And I didn't want to fall off the boat either.
And people are in there. Like, we're like, so should we go dunk ourselves in the water? I'm kind of thinking, no.
Yeah, I did see people bathing.
Well, that's where they do it
as well.
But
Yeah.
they're immune to it because they've been doing it all their life.
I mean,
right?
it's their holy river, and it's like their holy water, and it's
And
purified.
it is a very intense river, very holy,
I
very
think they
touching.
say it's the hair of is it Krishna, or I mean, I think there's like a saying of that the river is like the part of the hair of Krishna.
Yeah, so it's the mother Ganga.
Yeah.
So when we went out that first time, we were just going down the river, and all of a sudden, like, tears were pouring out of my eyes, and I had no idea why tears were pouring out of my eyes, but I could feel this deep sadness. And then I remembered, like, I saw a lifetime there, and this sadness that I dealt with being there. And then also the sadness of like having missed being there for so long, not having been there. Like, like missing your mother, like you feel so held with that river. It's so sacred. The energy is indescribable, sorry. And it just was just so deeply touching on so many levels. And so, yeah, that's how somebody asked, how do you see your past lives? It can come like out of nowhere. So that's the good thing about when we travel, because when you can get out of your direct paradigm, what you're used to, that's when you're going to have a lot of experiences. When you stay where you're used to being, then you're going to just be tapped into that same frequency most of the time, within a range. So nothing out of the ordinary usually will happen, unless something happens like, a major disaster, or something comes up that, creates a big shift of some kind. Then something could happen. But when you just stay in the same place and you don't go out of your comfort zone, you're not going to have these things just pop in. So I would have never known what it felt like to experience that sense of sadness and loss and connection with the Ganga River if I never went there.
Or even because when Cindy gets sad on trips, I know she's tapping into other lifetime memories. Even in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, Cindy got really sad, and like you had tears in your eyes, and you looked like really sad. And I said, Cindy, would you like a picture? and you were like, no. And then I handed you the camera, and I said, well, can you take a picture of me?
Typical. That's always what he does. Cindy, do you want a picture? No. Oh, can you take a picture of me? Sorry to interrupt your moment of
But
despair.
we had interesting pictures from that.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now because I know it's on one of my profile pictures. So Homer, go ahead and tell the one of those other stories that Do you know which one I'm talking about?
That could be any because we have so many lives.
The
Well,
one,
we've known each other before.
right. So
Uh-huh.
I had an actual channeling.
Yeah, so it was 2008, and Cindy had an actual channeling from our light activation galactic teachers. So
Right.
we work with the galactic teachers, the light activation galactic teachers, about healing and everything. So Cindy had a channeling in 2008, and they shared with her memories of when we worked as a group and our names and everything. I couldn't find Cindy's name, but I'm sure she was
She'll,
in it.
she'll remain nameless.
Yeah, she'll remain nameless. But where was that? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so other people that have been on our show, if you've been watching, they've been with us too in other lifetimes, and different names. So I would have a, let's see, I'm trying to get the piece of paper here. But my name in that lifetime, and this was in Egypt as well.
And had
Um,
we gone to, oh, we had been in Egypt once, right? So far at that time.
yeah, and this channeling came in.
Thought you said 2008.
This channeling was July 22, 2008. So yeah, only once, because we were going to go again our second time later that year, which because we usually go in September, October. But yeah, we've only been there once at that time. And my name back then was Ganefezga. Oh, and that's what I love about knowing about my other lifetimes is how diverse my names were. Um, it's really cool, really cool. And this is what everyone can do too is, when they tap into that vibration,
Right. So
get
sometimes
information.
it happens where I'm like trying to go to sleep, and that's when my guides decide they want me to know something. And
Mhm.
then they'll just like, no, you're not going to sleep yet. So that was the case on that channeling. And Homer saved it. I didn't save. It's like he said 6 pages.
Yeah.
But it was basically, I was being shown a group of us that every one of them, they gave me the names of them, and we were traveling in Egypt. We were living in Egypt, but we were traveling through the desert on uh,
Camels.
camels,
Yeah.
and we were doing our work. Which, light activation is an ancient healing modality, so that makes
Very
sense.
ancient. Yeah. Mhm.
And so it was really interesting what they were telling me, but basically it was to say you have connections with these people that are coming to you to be practitioners and teachers of light activation. And here's one of those lifetimes. And so it was pretty cool. So I'm going
Mhm.
to share my screen and show you that picture of the Valley of the Kings. And this was that one where I was really sad. I was just standing outside. There's a lot in the Valley of the Kings. There's a lot of tombs. And so you go into the tombs, and the painting is still, like, for the most part, very still full of color, and
Yeah, it's still preserved. Yeah.
sarcophaguses are in there.
Mhm.
And we had come out of one, and I remember I had a flashback of a past life, and it was so sad. It
Mhm.
was so sad. So can you guys see my
Yeah.
is it sharing? Can you
There it
see that?
is. Yep.
So he said, "You want to take a picture?" And I said, "No." And he asked me, "Can you take my picture?" So I got this picture of Homer with this orb on his head. So I'm like, well, dang. And then I took her picture.
Mhm.
That's Diana. She's a light activation practitioner as well.
And
And
she was in that channeling
I was like,
thing as
yeah, she
well.
was in that
Uh,
channeling as someone on one of the camel healer, not a camel healer,
her
up
name
on the
was
camel.
Ilintune. That was her name, Ilintune.
So she had done. I was like, well, dang, let me take take my picture. And then I got one on my head too. So that is amazing. I
Mhm.
mean,
I mean, not only can you
how,
see it, but you really can feel it as well. It's not just a visual thing. You can feel it.
I mean, I'm getting chills. That was
Yeah.
an amazing, like, oh my goodness.
It was
Look.
like going back in time and
Mhm.
feeling that, connection, because it felt very galactic to me,
Yeah, that was
and
really
Egypt is very
powerful.
galactic. Yeah.
So that's one, but this is a picture of us in near Mount Shasta, and
Mhm.
we were doing a group ceremony healing. And when we did this, you can't really tell because the person taking the picture was high up. But if you were ground level, we were kind of elevated above them. And I swear, I mean, I'm not saying I'm Jesus at all, but that's what it felt like, was giving the Sermon on the Mount, because we weren't just doing this. I was also talking to them and stuff, but that was what it came into my head. And then somebody with us said, when you were doing that, it was like Sermon on the Mount. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. It
That's
was
funny you
so,
mentioned that because I have it on my list too. I was there, but I was someone listening to Jesus, and my name was Jeddah.
wow.
Yeah, so I was a, audience member.
Wow.
That was
And
before Zoom.
and then this is an
Oh, yeah.
ancient alabaster in Egypt,
Mhm.
and it's a crystal alabaster actually. And we did some crystal bowl healings there, and we got some crystals going around. And
Mhm.
when you do this kind of thing, you see the crystal bowls are all, around here. And that takes you into a whole different frequency. So you're lifted into other dimensions and
Mhm.
other realities. And this is another way of connecting to other frequencies that, if you don't have these experiences, you don't even get the chance to connect in that way. So it's really powerful. And there's pyramids. We're right near some pyramids right there too. Not the Great Pyramid, but there were some other
Mhm.
pyramids there too. So I just wanted to share those with you. Let me get
Allison had a, nice question. She asked, "Where was your previous life together?" We've had so many lifetimes.
Nanny.
One of, we were in Mexico when we reenacted our meeting in, the jungles of Mexico.
At the Coba ruins, which is
Yeah,
kind of near getting towards Guatemala, right?
yeah, so we were Mayans in that lifetime, and we met, I think, you were from the South, I was from the North or
And
something
we
like.
met there originally.
Yeah, it was like we were doing some kinda trade or something. So
Yeah,
we reenacted that, and
that
then
was
in
amazing.
other pictures too, we reenact our sacrifice?
Yes, we did it
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we just get to see so many things because we're giving ourselves those opportunities.
But
But how
also
would
you may
you
see other people in your lifetime that, you've had a connection,
right.
you
And
know?
if
A
there's
life.
so, what how do you know, how can past lives really be hindering you? Is, you've got some kind of karmic relationship with somebody that shows up in this lifetime, but you brought the residue with you, or you have some karma that's just going to play out from another lifetime, or sometimes there's a fear that you have, like Homer described, that's playing out from another lifetime. So these are the things that you want to find so you can release them. We have an advanced technique that we do with light activation healing, and we can gather that lifetime and any other lifetimes that are similar frequency, and we can, release it and resolve it so you don't have to continue to have that hindrance.
Mhm.
So it's very, very useful for that. That's usually when they're coming up. And you had a past life that this happened, and it's like, oh my, in a past life, you were amputated at your knees. So maybe in this lifetime, you're having a hard time moving forward. You can't understand
Yeah.
why, like you feel so stuck all the time. But then you find out you had a past life that you were amputated at your knees, so you were stuck. Like that's something that, something that could happen. Or
Or
you
being
can't,
afraid of snakes, sometimes they were buried in a crypt full of snakes.
right.
Just
Or
things like that.
fire or flying or any of those things.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
often, or, these are really interesting when you have a problem with doing something in your life, whether it's moving forward, loving someone, um,
Ooh, I have
you
a good
know,
example. Yeah.
feeling confident in yourself. Well, in a
Mhm.
past life, you could have been crippled. You could have lived a very lonely life. Or the one person you had that you trusted, betrayed you or died
Mhm.
and left you feeling abandoned. So you have this abandonment issue in this lifetime, or you don't trust
Yeah.
your partner, that when you do get someone, you don't trust them because you feel like they're going to do something to betray you. So
Mhm.
there's always something, that, not always, but there's a lot of times where these things can come in and really be playing havoc in your life, and they don't need to, because if you identify that it was a past life or a parallel life, whatever, you can resolve that, and then you just don't have the issue anymore.
Mhm. I have a great story with that.
Okay.
So, one of my issues in this lifetime was stepping up and being in my power, like being a leader of any type. I didn't. I always backed away. I would always love to support, but like the leadership position, I would just reject it. So, in another Mayan lifetime, my name was Tlaticatl, and I was a young teenager. I was maybe about 16 years old. The elders, they gave me instructions to alert the people when the ships came in. Um, I think we were evacuating them, but um, there was that time when the ships, and I'm talking about not ships from the water, but ships from the sky, spaceships. They were all over the sky, and I was just mesmerized by um, all the ships. And I did not do what I was supposed to do because I was just preoccupied. And I was um, yelled at, I was blamed for this and that because I did not um, take my responsibilities seriously. And so, with that, it affected me in some ways in this life. So, I would always reject any type of leadership, any responsibility like that. So
Well,
that's an example, you
that
know?
really changed, because I'll tell you one thing. Once, Homer learned light activation, and uh, he would, I had him and I work with me in the classes to help out and stuff
Mhm.
to begin with. But right away, I noticed that Homer had this really, a gift. I mean, I knew he was gifted, but it's really important to know how to do light activation the right way, follow the protocol, do the right things in, certain, or some things are certain orders, some things are, I mean, there's just different protocol. And when we would sit there, and if somebody would start like embellishing or doing it strangely or something, he would always, like, I'd see him and he'd, like a hawkeye, he'd look at him and then he'd look at me, like, and then he'd look back at them. And I go tell him. He's like, okay. And he would go over there and he'd be like, and then he would help them. And so that actually became that's what he always does in the class. That's one of his main jobs. Is he actually has a book he
Yeah,
drew out
an
all
illustrative manual, yeah.
of the healing
Mhm.
sessions. And then, as you advance into the mastery level, there's advanced techniques. And he did one of that. Like he's got these different manuals. And so he holds it and he comes next to you and, just gently, tells you, do this, he'd be like, and then you
I mean,
go,
because the star people, they are very exact,
there are,
and it's like, "Here, uh-uh, here," it's like,
right.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
and
they're
they
very
will even I will even feel a pinch if,
yeah,
like, I'm doing something wrong, like, ugh.
exactly.
I'm like, "Dang, that
I
feels like a
remember
taser."
I remember one time I was doing a healing when I used to do healings in person in Pleasant Hill. And I think I told you guys about the squirrels before, but I was doing a session on someone, and it's like all into the relaxing mode and everything. And you're not always moving the whole time. Sometimes you're just standing there working on something. So I'm working and I'm looking out at the squirrel. And all of a sudden I feel this pinch and I'm like, ow, like what? And I hear like, pay attention to what you're doing. I am paying attention. I can do this and look at a squirrel.
You know,
So,
years later, that happened to me too. I was looking at a squirrel at the same center years
oh my
later, and
God.
I'm like, "Whoa."
So, and they're even during class, they're correcting us too. So it's not just, the students. Like we have to be on point, and then we have to
Exactly.
make sure our students are on point.
I mean, we can't joke around or anything. I mean, we keep things
Well,
light, but
we do joke around,
we
but
do joke around, but we keep things light, but if it gets too far, they will
well,
reprimand
even
you.
sometimes when I didn't think it was that bad, but then they say like, don't stop saying that or something. It's like,
It's
dang,
like the voice of reason that it's
it
like, James Earl Jones, "This is CNN," like he comes in.
So yeah, I found out quickly that Homer was very attentive when it came to the technique, and so that ever since then, he was that person
But
that.
the thing is, star people are very graceful too. So sometimes when I see it look a little too rough, and I've seen, you know, some students kind of being too rough.
Yeah.
Like galactic people we're very concise and precise, but also graceful.
Mm,
The way we walk, the way we talk, everything.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So did you have any other things you wanted to share on any of those points? How you
Oh yeah. So just looking at my lifetimes as a whole, it's like it shows me the different vibrations that as a soul I wanted to learn. So I wasn't always love and light. In some lifetimes, I was really evil. I was mean. I was a chauvinist, things like that. But as a soul, learning about from the lightest light to the darkest dark, like all the different vibrations, emotions, and like what I said before, learning to live a life being rich, learning to live a life being poor, man, woman, animal, so forth. Every vibration you could think of. And that's just this planet. Then you think of other dimensions and other planets, just different vibrations, different experiences. All, if you look at it collectively, it's like, okay, I see the bigger picture now. It's really about learning and evolving, um, expanding your awareness and consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really beautiful. One thing that we do in the Isis temple in Egypt is a past life regression. So we usually get private access early morning. So we're out there before sunrise and we go in the main chamber and we do a past life regression. Oh, it's amazing.
it is.
I think I have a picture of that
And
too.
my mom even heard a knock on that temple. So the temple, the walls are really thick. These are like stone walls. And my mom, in one of our Egypt trips, she heard a knock, 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 knock. And she just said, come in.
And
Well, she was very open to, I mean, she's very open to galactic things as well. So yeah, she said, come in. Nothing came in. I just thought it was funny. And that knock, I didn't know where it came from.
yeah.
Yeah,
And how can you hear a knock on that kind of a wall?
exactly. There was one lifetime I was a caiman or like an alligator. Um, I was trying to offshoot some karma that I had done the previous life before that, because I was a Roman general. I sent men into places that I knew they were going to die and had lots of karma. But the next life, I was a Cayman, and I was always trying to offshoot that karma by snapping at things. That's what I wrote down. Yeah, I was always snapping at things in that life.
Snapping? What do you mean?
Well, like an alligator always,
Oh,
snapping its
geez.
jaws. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was looking for that past life regression picture. I don't know that I'm going to find it. So I'm
We
just.
even have a word, my
Oh, here
galactic
it is.
employees. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. Here we go. There we go.
Ooh, yeah.
So it's such a beautiful experience because Isis is the goddess of love and healing, and the past lives that you connect with. I believe every time people connect with an Egyptian past life when we've done it. And it's always so beautiful, and you learn something about yourself um, in the process, of course. And then it's just so sacred and so healing. This is my favorite temple. When I lived in Egypt, I lived 20 minutes from this temple, and I'd spent a lot of time there. I called it the Jewel of the Nile because
Oh,
it's in the middle of the Nile River.
yeah.
So, okay, let's look at some of these comments. So remember to say I'm all in if you want a chance for a mini light activation healing reading. And what is the the focus is going to be past life residue to clear.
Residue.
What is some past life residue that you could clear right now? And I just wanted to say, Jenny said, so strange. It's like I'm mesmerized and drifted off to sleep, but could hear you at the same time. It lasted 3 to 4 minutes. Weird. So interesting. A lot of things resonating with me. So you know what? I answer you guys in the chat, but I noticed that a lot of times you guys don't see my answers. So it's weird. I don't know how this program's working, but I said something shifting going on with you, Jenny. So, when it kind of, you might hear the voice, but you're just, in another dimension. Something is, calling a soul connection right there and shifting.
That happens to me a lot because sometimes when Cindy is talking, like when we were in the pyramids and you were sharing something really deep, and then you looked over at me and I was like, but it's like I had to be out there to hear it or to
One
get
time
it.
we were in the pyramid and we were toning. It was so beautiful. And I could hear this undertone, like I was hearing this, and I like go next to Homer and I'm like, do you hear that? And he's like, what? And I'm like, that sound.
That
And
chanting.
that chanting. And he's like, yeah, it's me.
I was calling out to my star people,
Yeah,
like, come and get us.
that's so funny. Yes,
Oh, and
Amira.
I love the
So,
acoustics in the
that's so
pyramid.
funny, Jenny. We were just talking about Amira de la Luna. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So T Rose Lover from YouTube said, why am I so tired and sleepy? Am I ascending or going through the shift? I mean, if it's happening during this show, most likely you're getting caught up in a wave that you could probably find some insight about yourself.
That does happen too.
And Delia said, yes, happens to me in some listening to live streams. Yeah, because when we're talking about this stuff, we're actually taking you through the vibration of it.
Yeah, so it's more than just a internet show, it's an intergalactic show.
Exactly.
Interdimensional show.
Things are happening when you're watching these shows.
Yeah. A lot behind the scenes go on.
Homer, what were you saying about people who wanted the healing and readings? There was that what we want you to know that sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, we are always going to tell you exactly what we're getting.
Yeah, and sometimes we
And
don't, sometimes I mean, we are the channelers, and so the tone may be, how our guides want us to deliver that. So we
right,
never know what tone we're gonna use, what words we're gonna use. Sometimes we're trying to translate a vibration that's not in English, but it's like emotion or sound, and we, do our best to translate it the best we can.
right.
Yeah.
So, and also we will say things in the way that you will hear it, whether you like it or not. So
Mhm.
we never mean to be like too like how do
Um,
you want to say it forward.
like
We're
a dictator.
dictator. No, but
No, yeah.
we're not gonna candy coat things because we don't do that anyway. If you want to get a reading healing, then it's important that you're open to whatever comes through. And it's never a judgment and it's never a scolding. It's never anything like that. We
Mhm.
never want anyone to feel that way. But it's something that's in your way right now. And it's super important for you to hear it in the way you're hearing it. And I just, we want you to understand that we're straight shooters. We're not going to try to fluff it around and not and then not give you what you need. Okay? So that's what we wanted to let you know. And so I don't know if there's any other comments. Delia said, love it. Egypt past life is the strongest and the loudest. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so amazing there.
Even just
Um,
looking at a picture of Egypt, you
yeah,
may get, triggered by, a memory.
yeah. Okay, so Karen said, I had a really weird dream the other morning. Time was passing at a year per second, and I was going through lives, but kept looking the same to myself. Wow.
Mm,
Well, you're traveling your parallel lives all at the same time, I guess.
mhm.
I mean, I've been having some really weird dream state things going on too.
Yeah, time
And
is different out there. It's not like what we have here.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, last night I had a dream that I was in a really small house and it was surrounded by these huge redwoods. And all of a sudden, I saw these two redwoods that were so close to each other starting to move, like literally, like move.
Oh,
And then I
I know
was
those.
like, oh my goodness, like they were huge. Like you to see redwoods doing that.
Yeah.
And then it was like the whole house started moving. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's an earthquake." And all these redwoods were like totally moving in the houses. I was like, "Oh, should I leave? What am I
Oh,
doing?"
that's so cool.
It wasn't cool. It was freaky.
Well, I know the, redwoods in the Sirius star system do that, so they move. They love to dance in their own
Well,
way.
when I lived in California, I would go to the redwood park there, and on windy days,
Oh.
you could hear them creaking. Like moving and creaking. That was a really strange
Mhm,
thing because you don't imagine those huge trees actually moving that much, but they do.
mhm.
And but yeah, that dream was really trippy. There's more to it. So I was like, okay, we're having a shift, obviously. Earthquake worth of a shift.
Yeah, I like what Delia said. Be open to the frequency and spirit can be boom, babe, shift, or we will shift the shiz out of you.
That's
Yeah,
right. And you wouldn't hear
that's right.
anything that you didn't need. Whatever you hear is what you need to hear right now. So
Mhm.
make sure you write "I'm all in the chat if you want a chance. And we're gonna go with who we feel guided to go with. And can I just remind you at this time, if you haven't already, please like this video, share, comment. And if you're listening and you never comment, how about saying hi once in a while? We want to know who's out there.
Mhm.
And also yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Homer, did you see someone that said I'm all in?
Going through the list and checking it out.
Gonna find out who's naughty and nice.
I was gonna say that
Santa Claus is coming.
too. How about Mary Luz Contreras?
Okay.
Okay.
Mary Lou, did she say I'm all in?
Yes, she did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are focusing on
Mhm.
past life residue to clear right now for you, Mary Luz. If you would just relax, take a nice deep breath. And we're going to start sending in the healing frequency. And when we send in the healing frequency, anything will clear if you're open for the clearing. And we can't do anything that you don't want. You have free will, and we never force anything. So you know what, though? You have a healing team and we have a healing team, and they get along and they make happen what needs to happen. So your soul's, if you're all in, so is your soul. So let's go into Marilu. So the first thing I'm getting for you is to the throat chakra, spoken and unspoken communication. And they actually keep showing me the blue, that turquoise blue of the throat chakra, and they're showing me turquoise blue water. So what I'm hearing is it's really important for you to cleanse your energy a lot more than you do. And so you can do that by getting in bodies of water. Like, you know how you always feel better when you go for a swim in the ocean or you know, in a lake or whatever. And it's just very cleansing. And I'm just feeling this resonance with water for you. And I'm seeing this actual lifetime of yours in Atlantis. And I'm seeing crystal bowls. I'm seeing healing tools. And, oh, I got to chill. I am seeing a lot. Hold on. Where are we going here? So what I'm hearing is in Atlantis, and I'll say you are because everything's happening at the same time. I can't even tell. See my throat chakra. See what
No,
happened?
I got that too. Yeah.
when
That's
you
what
guys are
happened.
going through things, and we start feeling it ourselves.
Yeah.
But you're a healer. I'm getting big chills. So that means this is a real big confirmation for you and something you really need to know. You're a natural healer in Atlantis, and you did sound and vibrational healing, and you're very connected to the water. And you can do sound and vibrational healing with water as well, and just in all different ways. And so this is so relevant to Atlantis because in Atlantis, there is a lot of blue, of that turquoise blue, a lot of that vibrational healing, water, sound healing, crystals. And I'm just getting so many chills. Like that is your alignment. And I don't know if you do healing work in this lifetime, but if you don't, I would highly invite you, if you feel guided to explore that for yourself. Of course, we teach light activation classes once a year in July, and we'll be doing it in Calistoga, California next year. Fingers crossed. But that's the plan. But for you to explore this form of healing is going to help you to express yourself with healing, your healing words. It's going to tune up your energy and your frequency, and it's going to put you in alignment with your life so you can step out into your life and create such a better flowing life. This is really huge for you. This is a big, huge thing. So in this case, this past life is it's very strong and is very connected, and you're getting nudged and guided to please get to your true essence, because this is what you're here to do. Of course, if you felt like I don't want to do that, that's your choice. You have free will, but it's a big deal, and it would put your life onto a whole beautiful new track of flow, and you just feel so much more connected. Homer?
The thing is, when we do healings, sometimes we get different information, but sometimes we get similar information. It's like we're tapping into the different frequencies, and a lot of similarities too. I picked up too. So Marilu's, yeah, I was picking up if you're not already doing healing, and I think you are in some ways. Like a lot of people go to you for some type of comfort already. So you've been doing healings in some ways already, but yeah, you can explore that and really tap into it again, because it is very natural for you, that from what I was feeling. Yeah, definitely Atlantis. I was getting the same thing, Cindy, when you were saying Atlantis. Exactly, right there. But also, because I was trying to tap into um, the residue that may be preventing you from moving forward. So I was getting anxiety and desperation. So in some ways, I was saying, um, now you've had not just one life in Atlantis, but a few. But also, you were there during the fall of Atlantis. And so, what I was seeing was like enclosure, like being enclosed. Um, yeah, like being enclosed. So, kind of like almost like not buried alive, but like just being
Cutting you
enclosed.
off.
Yeah, so that desperation and anxiety was there, and that fear of because all I saw was darkness, like, oh, where's the light? And desperation, am I able to breathe? Things like that. So I was clearing that because I was feeling it in the throat too. It was affecting you, your voice and your third chakra. So I worked on that. Um, but the message I was getting was step back into your power. You've done this before, not just in Atlantis, I'm sure other lifetimes too. Um, Step back into your power. Don't feel guilty or afraid of it. Just do it because it's very natural for you. And definitely the healing tones or anything with music is, I don't know, I was hearing like, I don't know if you sing or anything, but tones or even just your voice is very healing. That's what I
Awesome.
got.
Do you know Mary Lou's?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Because you said you're already helping people, so I thought you knew her.
Oh, no, that's
Okay.
what I felt.
Wow. You said that
Yeah.
very confidently. So
Yeah.
you probably are one of those kind of, you're an empath, and most
Hmm.
likely people unload their stuff on you all the time. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
okay. Well, thank you. Cutting the cord. And I'm going to go with Cheryl Gittens. Hi, Cheryl.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Cheryl Gittens.
do you know Cheryl Gittens?
No, but I remember I pronounce her last name. I
Oh,
said
oh, you
Cheryl
called
Kittens.
her Gittens. That's right. All right. So, past life residue to clear. So, yeah. Okay. I still was going to go back to Mary Lou's again. No. Enough. See, this can go on forever. So just relax and take a nice deep breath, and we're going to start sending in the healing frequency and see what's coming through. So the first thing I'm seeing is you looking through your third eye, which is your sixth chakra right here. But I'm seeing it looking like straight and then left and right, like it's searching. And I feel like this searching for your purpose or searching for your next level. It's like there's something that I don't know if you feel that physically, but energetically, your soul, like that's your connection to your intuition and seeing the unknown is searching. It's looking for something more. That's what I'm hearing. You're looking for something more, whether you realize it or not. I don't know why I need to add that, but uh, I keep hearing it. You're looking for something more fulfilling, upgrading your game, taking your next big step. I just feel like you're in a place of that you could transition into your next level if you're open to it and if you would allow yourself to do that, because what I'm hearing is there's so much more for you. So at the same token, I still keep getting this feeling of you hold yourself back, that you might get these glimpses or these thoughts of doing things, but then you pull back, and then I get this real tenseness right up in your abdomen, your third chakra, which is your personal power. So it's something there's part of you that your intuition wants to move forward, but your physical, mental thoughts wants to keep you back. So there's this um, push and pull, this inner battle with yourself. So I just want to see where that goes. Hold on. Where's this battle coming from? Where's this battle coming from? So I'm getting it. There's a battleground in your heart. So things that haven't worked out, things that haven't worked out in other lifetimes, even on levels of situations and relationships. and you needing to trust yourself more. So there, from past lives or other lifetimes, you have lost a certain amount of trust, and so that's why you hesitate. So we're going to release that probably because I can feel it right in your chest, or just like, and then your third chakra. It's like those are the things that hold you back. And remember, your chest also holds your heart chakra, and your soul is deep down in there. So it's like you're cloaking your soul. And if you just would lift that and breathe and allow yourself to love yourself enough to make changes in your life, even if it seems crazy, or I mean, crazy in a good way, just something different that you wouldn't expect yourself to do, but letting yourself explore outside of your boundaries. So something that would be really good for you is one of our trips, the spiritual journeys, because you get totally taken out of your paradigm, set into a different one, and then you have a playground to explore and learn so much about yourself and receive insight and guidance. And that kind of thing, whether you came on a trip with us or did it yourself, which, I mean, that's, whatever your choice is. But it's like you have to be willing to get out of your norm and do something different to open more of those doors, to show you some different things that are available to you. But releasing that you're not being able to trust yourself first, because if you don't trust yourself, you're not going to trust everything else, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's something. Work on your self-trust. Do some affirmations. I trust myself. I trust myself enough to make a change. I love myself so much, I will make this change. I love myself so much that I'm going to explore this. Those kind of affirmations. Homer?
Cheryl, I don't know if you do any teaching or if you're a teacher, but I was getting you're a natural teacher, that you have like wisdom that you can share with people, like guiding people, and but in a nurturing way. But what past other lifetime residue that's preventing you, I guess, in this life? Yeah, I was going kind of like what Cindy was saying, down to self-worth, self-love, self-worth. Um, but also seeing and feeling that suppression. So in other lifetimes, I kept feeling being suppressed, like the knowledge that you had to share, sometimes it was looked down upon, or you weren't allowed to speak on certain things, like just feeling that suppression, like don't speak about it, don't talk about it. So not being able to use your full capacity in a way. So what I was doing also was I was gathering all those other lifetimes, because I was feeling it in more than one lifetime, like a similar pattern, gathering it in a way that we know how to do, with one of our techniques, and just dissolving that lower vibration. Yeah, just working on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you work through that, you would clear a lot to get you moving into your higher levels or new levels.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do. You're really gifted with teaching or just sharing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful. And I just want to say, Mara Luz wrote in the chat, yes, I needed this confirmation. I'm doing healing, but looking into the modalities. Yes, thank you. Thank you both. Oh, that's so great. Good
Yeah.
for you. Yay.
Yep.
You're ready. Okay. Homer, do you want to choose someone else that says I'm all in?
Okay, how about from YouTube? It's you.
It's you.
Oh, wait, it's me. Okay.
Okay. It's me. And her name is Lillian, actually, because I see it said, hi, beautiful people. Lillian here. Wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, all those things.
Oh, I didn't see that. I just saw wash
No,
your
she
hands.
just said wash hands. She didn't
Oh.
say, I added that on.
Okay. Okay, let me go wash my hands now.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to go in with Lillian from YouTube. It's me. Cheryl says, so amazing and helpful. I have felt this way for so long. Oh, Cheryl. So now you know what to do and you know why. And usually when you know why, it makes doing what you need to do next a lot easier. So
And
happy.
also, there are other lifetimes where it's the opposite, where you are in your power.
Right,
So harness that and bring it into the now.
right.
And
Good,
that can apply to everyone else too.
good words, Homer. Good job
Yeah.
there. Okay,
Okay.
Lillian. So Lillian, just relax, take a nice deep breath, and we're looking for past life residue to clear right now for you. We're sending in the healing frequency. And I have a hard time getting past your mind. There's a lot of energy buildup here. It's just like I don't hear this, but I almost hear like I'm out of my mind. Not like you're crazy, but in a way like you are. I'm hearing the word troubled. That you get troubled. That you're too much in your head. So when people tend to think too much or overthink things, or don't make decisions. Usually overthinkers have a hard time making decisions, and not making a decision is a decision. Remember that. And just a side step is, a lot of times we don't know the whole thing of what we need to do. But surely you can say, if I could do something today, what could I do? And start there. What's really important is taking some steps to get some movement. It could be the littlest thing. It could be, you know what, today I need to go garden, or I need to go sweep, or I need to go for a walk just to lighten my mind and look at something else. That is enough for the universe to start stepping in and working with you. But I'm just getting that you're so too much in your head that you get confused. When you do have ideas, it starts to deplete the energy around them because you're not sure, because then you question that. And you're like, they're telling me that loops around and around and around and around. It's a habit that you have. So okay, where do I need to go with this? So one good thing that you can do in this case, so anybody that overthinks, that has ideas looping all the time, do a meditation. And so you might say, well, my mind starts thinking of things. So just make a noise. You just go, like, close your eyes and go, however you want to do it. But just keep doing that, because when you're doing that, you can't think. So that's and when you do that, that toning helps resonate through your body. And the key here is to do that for like 10 minutes. And, you might have to start with 2 minutes and then go to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But you just keep doing that, because as long as you're making that noise, you can't think, you can't let your mind get away with you. And that will give you enough space and time to stop that looping of thought. And then you come back to yourself after you finish and you're like, and your mind knows what it feels like to be clear. So that's something you can do. But I just want to see where this connects with the past life. And I keep hearing overthinking. Oh, I heard overthinking is what killed you in a past life. You didn't make a decision fast enough. Something happened really fast, and you didn't make your decision fast enough because you're too busy overthinking it, and it was too late. And I actually see you getting hit by a train. So, should I move? Should I cross? Should I, just make a decision and go for it. You know what? Sometimes we make good decisions, and sometimes we don't make the best decisions. Even me, I sometimes don't make good decisions even now, as hooked up as I am. But I'm a human and I have to experience things. No decision is a bad decision. We're going to learn something one way or another. So just make the decision. So you're not making the decision And it is causing a lot of, well, what did I say in the beginning? I'm losing my mind. See, that similar energy to like that past life. I know it's different, but you did in essence lose your mind because you got killed by a train. And it was both of them is because you're thinking too much. So please do that little thing. And of course, everybody here should know that we do light activation sessions, in-depth sessions that we can help you shift things in your life. So just know that there is help if you wanted to seek it out. Okay, Homer?
Immediately, also in the beginning, it was very mental. So just trying to even send in frequency, it was like bouncing off. Like the mental energy was so strong, it was like sending healing into a metal helmet. Like bing. So much going on there. But also, yeah, same thing. I was getting the same thing. There was that putting the mind over the heart kind of thing. But also because in other lifetimes, from what I was getting to, it served as a protection as well, like not showing the heart too much, but being more in the mental or analytical, because I put analytical over the heart. But yeah, I got the same thing where there were lifetimes when you had to decide because it was like a split decision or like a split second decision, you know, a little longer and wham, you just had lost opportunity or also your life. But I was getting, yeah, really frozen because being too much in your mind, too analytical. But I was feeling the legs too, just almost being paralyzed because of that. So not able to move, you know, like, what should I do? Should I do this or that? So being indecisive in other lifetimes. So there was that pattern that I was just going in deeper just to clear out with one of our techniques. And that's what I got for you,
Awesome.
Lillian. Lillian? Yeah, Lillian.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hopefully that was helpful for you.
Wow, I had to breathe.
I know that was
That
amazing.
was,
I
that
couldn't.
train, because it wasn't just a train. I was getting other things that like wham.
I have a feeling she probably got slammed a lot of lifetimes.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Symbolically
You
too.
still keep coming back, so don't worry about it.
Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
You know, it's
Also,
like,
now is the time because, you know, having like an awareness of some lifetimes now, you can even break that karmic chain, you know, just that little bit of information like, oh, okay, so that was a pattern. I can change that and
right.
then start breaking that karmic chain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you know why you're that way, it
Hmm.
often makes it a lot easier to change it. Like this was residue you brought from another lifetime. You don't have to keep taking it from one lifetime to another and going through the same lessons.
Hmm. Yeah.
The buck stops here.
Yep.
Okay, I hope that was helpful. Okay, I'm going to go for Irene Merkel. Hello, Irene.
I do see a question
You do?
from Irene. I'm so excited to find out my whys. The past life experiences I had with you two in Sedona were quite eye-opening.
Oh, we're going to Sedona next year in April, Irene, if you want to come back for some
To revisit that past life.
more
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to look at past life residue to clear for you, Irene. So just take a nice deep breath and relax. And we're going to start sending in the healing frequency. Wow. So I feel a real heaviness that pushes right down into your chest, into your abdomen. And I'm hearing lovers lost. Lovers lost. You've lost a lot of lovers. And then I'm hearing in terrible ways, actually. Some of them, they're in a lot of different kinds of lifetimes, fighting, wars, brutally killed, like some really intense ways you've lost lovers, and it has been very devastating to your life. And what I'm just telling you, this is like a channeling, it's just coming through. So I'm just going to talk. It's been very devastating, and it's keeping you from other lovers because you don't want to have this repeat trauma and hurt. And it has nothing to do with you. And it has nothing to do with them not wanting you or that you would lose them. It's this repeated pattern of these past lives of getting in relationships, falling in love in these relationships, and then a traumatic ending to their life, always leaving you alone. So what is the residue is feeling alone, being alone in this life, and not having that connected soul lasting life partner, because you're depending on yourself. You've always depended on yourself because of it, because you just already know that you've had to depend on yourself through all of it. Like every time that you would have someone to share something with, then all of a sudden they were gone. So why have it at all when you could just not go through that and just depend on yourself? I'm not saying that as a comment to you. That's how you think. That's the energy that you're holding. So I'm doing a clearing on that. And one thing I'm hearing for you to do is, number one, everyone here should know, but Irene, this is for you specifically. You may think that you only have you to depend on to pay your bills, to do what you are in life. Like maybe you don't have someone in your life, or maybe you do have someone and you're still doing it all. When you feel like that, there's what do you call that? When you amnesia, you're forgetting that you are always connected to your source, whoever your higher power is, God, universe, the divine, Allah, whoever it is. You are not here alone. You are not an individual energy. You are a part of a whole, and you have a connection with yourself and your source. And if you remember that you are not your source and supply, no person, place, or thing is your source and supply. The only true source and supply you have is with your higher power. That is your true source and supply. Now, yes, maybe you get money from a job. Maybe you're supported by a husband or a wife, whatever. But that is a conduit from your source to supply you. That is not your direct source and supply. And every time you think that something is your direct source and supply, whether it's yourself or a job or someone else, you will lose it usually. At some point, you will lose it because your higher power is doing its best to remind you that your higher source, your higher power is your source and supply. And you want to remember that, and you want to live that, because you will have so much abundance, so much richness, whether it's in peace, in fulfillment, in money, in whatever it is that you want, in relationships, whatever you want. You have to have that connected source, higher source, for anything else in your life to work out and sustain. If you don't have that higher connection and source at all the time, or at least feeding it and fueling it and connecting with it on a regular basis, what you have will be difficult to hold on to or have. And if you do, it'll probably be something that doesn't feel great, something that you're settling for, something that might even be negative. Your true connection and your source and supply of love, of connection, of faith, of trust, of abundance, of health, of all things starts between you and your connection with your higher power. And once you get that, then the rest can come in, and it'll come in a level that will be sustaining for you. So Don't think you're alone, Irene. Don't think you have to be the one to take care of yourself. Okay? Your job is to love yourself. And your job is to connect with your higher power and find that connection and nurture that connection and love yourself more and more and more. And everything that you want can come in once you do that. Okay, Homer?
That was awesome. And again, that can apply to everyone else too. That
Absolutely.
information. Yeah. Um, got the same thing too. Energy, the frequency of abandonment was very big. Fear of being alone. Um, Residue was what I was feeling in terms of other lifetime. So definitely third chakra I was working on, and also in the spiritual body. So I had to work on an area in the spiritual body, in the aura, that needed to be worked on. Um, because of that abandonment issue in other lifetimes. So I was seeing being an orphan in one lifetime, and also being a wife with 7 kids, being left alone and having to raise the kids alone. That abandonment, I have to do this alone. It's only me, but also it shook your faith as well. So I was seeing that carried on in some ways in this life. So that's what I was working on with the abandonment issues, and also with the spiritual body of the aura on that.
Awesome.
Yep.
I hope that was helpful, Irene. And Irene says, yay, me and Jeff, I'll start working on him now. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Way better than any of your other experiences. Irene, I hope you guys can make it. And if Jeff can't, still come. You come. Okay, so I want, Homer, what's up for Tuesday?
Tuesday, we have exit points.
Or is it karmic relationships?
Yeah, that too.
I think it's karmic relationships.
Yes. Okay, that one.
We changed it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
We shifted the other lifetimes.
yeah, and then next Friday, so next Tuesday, it's 4:00 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's 4:00 Pacific.
Pacific.
And 7:00 Eastern.
Yeah.
Tuesday, and we're gonna do karmic relationships. So any of those relationships where you just want to know what in the heck is this about? I feel a connection. We're not together. We are together. Whatever. And then Friday will be
Friday. Ooh, you guys are gonna love this one. The galactic family of the stars.
right. Galactic
Not stars in
family
Hollywood, but stars
of light.
of light.
So that's going to be really powerful because we are going to be channeling in some pretty high frequency energies, galactic energies next Friday night. I hope you guys will be here, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So next week, karmic relationships on Tuesday, Friday, galactic family of light. And I'm going to tell some stories of how they were materializing right in front of me.
Yeah.
And what that feels like. Because one of them was really like amazing, and the other one was like, I didn't want it. So 2 very different experiences. I did tell one when that happened in Sedona, but that's not one of these. These are different ones.
We just have so many stories to share.
Right.
It's like typical day at the office for us because we have like so many.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Pocahontas. You have a great night. Thank you for being here.
And thank you, all of you. We do see you in the chat room.
And Delia, thank you so much for being here all the time. I really appreciate you, Delia, because you're always here. And I really appreciate that. And some of you are here very often, and I really appreciate you too. I appreciate you if you've just come the first time today. I appreciate all of it.
I appreciate my birthday greetings yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah, he really likes that. So thank you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to YouTube, and we will see you on Tuesday with
And also,
relationships. Yes, Homer.
just because we didn't call you, and we do healings on certain individuals, where we are also collectively doing healings on everyone else too. There's a lot going behind the scenes, so you are not left out.
And not only that, the guidance that comes through, if it makes sense for you, it was for you too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That happens. So
I like what Allison
big
said.
planes, you take crafts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Actually, that will fall under Galactic Family of Light, because I could talk about that too. We just go.
Yeah, and just imagine when you're here for that Galactic Family of Light, the frequencies you're going to be in that night. Woohoo! Okay.
I'll bring in my people from the academy.
Yes, and Homer's going to be in his bliss because he'll get to be all out there. Sometimes I reel him in because he just goes straight out there. Then it's no bars hold for.
It's like, remember, you're in a human body. You're renting your human body right now. Come back.
He gets to be fully in his galactic self next week, so that'll be nice. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. We really appreciate you. Lots of love.
Thank you, all of you.
We'll see you again very soon.